back, everyone, to the late night review. And tonight I had to review Duel with Dennis Weaver. This has always been one of my favorite movies. I had to do a review of it. And by the way, don't forget to like and subscribe, share this video so other people can see this type of content, and we get more eyes on this channel and it can grow. That would be awesome. But I had to do a review of Duel with Dennis Weaver. Uh, he always reminded me of one of my cousins. My cousin and I were always close, and we used to go camping, and he looked like Dennis Weaver. He's quite a few years older than I am. We went camping and over Chinook Pass, and it was funny too. I was nervous riding with him. This is a long, many years ago, talking in the 90s. And I was pretty young, and he's always been quite a bit older than me, but he had one hand on the steering wheel, and he was going back and forth between a cup of coffee and a cigarette, which I don't smoke, and the smoke was bothering me, but he's going back and forth, kind of driving too fast near the edge, and I was nervous. I said, would you mind maybe just slowing down a little bit and then maybe having two hands on the wheel? But we had a good time. I don't suggest that. People should never drive that way. Should always have both hands on the wheel. Don't do distracted driving. I was a teenager, and he was making me nervous when we were going camping. And that was many years ago. But we had a good time. Always loved him. But Dennis Weaver and him look very similar. And I believe their birthdays were similar, close to each other too. Well, I think so. I don't know. They're both Geminis. So, but anyway, I really had a good time. And then watching this movie, Duel, makes me think of my cousin. But also, I grew up with this. I have so much nostalgia for it. Steven Spielberg's first feature film. What a job he did. I think he was about 24 when he did this. Just a masterful job. What a great director. And you can see by just watching this the potential that he had and realized, and then just showed us all later in all those great movies he made after this as well. But this movie it's suspenseful, but I got to tell you something. I got to be honest. Because my humor is dark, it makes me laugh. It really does. I have a good time with some of the scenes in here and some of the way Dennis, it might be because of nostalgia. My friends and I used to watch this, and then, with my cousin, his mannerisms, his body language, certain expressions really reminds me of my cousin. Always love him, and it's so funny. I have a dark sense of humor, and this movie does make me laugh. By the way, you never know. You might look over your shoulder, see a friend that you haven't seen for a long time, somebody that will definitely back you up and say, I got your back. And some of these movies have real sadistic people in them that kind of like to torture others. It's crazy. They like to watch people and do sadistic things to them and watch them, and, just watch them shake for a while. That's awful, isn't it? No, it really is. But this movie is not like The Hitcher, but it is. It is and it isn't. The Hitcher had some brutal scenes. It was more dark, more violent. There are certain expressions Rutger Hauer had in there that were comical and funny. Love Rutger Hauer. I always thought he was a great actor. Did a good job in everything I've seen him in. But this movie is very similar to Hitcher on one hand, but very different on the other. Very different in the sense is it's not as dark as Hitcher. You don't have the blood and the gore. You don't have the real sadism and sadistic stuff like you do in the Hitcher. This is like Hitcher light, and you can have more of a good time. There's scenes in here where you can more or less. It's suspenseful, but it's more entertaining to me. The Hitcher was a classic. It's fantastic. I always liked that movie. I think it was really well done. Non-stop action, suspense, scary. Really, I like that movie a lot. I love this one too. This one here, I think you can have more of a good time. It's more entertaining because it's not quite so sadistic. I get a laugh out of it, just the way that the truck driver and the truck, you never see the truck driver to my knowledge. You can watch this movie over and over again, and you don't know if you're watching him sitting in that diner, because later on Dennis Weaver's trying to figure out, okay, the big truck's parked outside. Is he in this diner or not? Is he one of the patrons? Is he one of the people sitting in here? And he kind of looks over there and he's looking to see who it might be. So if they leave, he can see if they get in the big truck. This movie is classic, just classic. Really love this movie. Like I said, I grew up with it. I have a lot of nostalgia. You know, I watched it. It was, you know, obviously I was born in 1977. This was made a few years before I was born. But, you know, you see the reruns and the VHS. And I remember one time when we went to the video store. I don't remember the name of it. It might have been Opening Night Video or Magic Video. I'm not quite sure, back in the day. And we were looking for this one. And I think the guy behind the counter asked us, can I help you with something? And, you know, it was going to be rented for us. My dad was going to rent it for my friend and I to watch that night. And I asked him, yeah, do you have Duel, the movie Duel? We're looking for a good comedy. And then my friend broke up laughing in the store. It's not a comedy. It's a serious movie. If you go into if you go anywhere, it'll be in this horror section or suspense or action section, those types of genre. I put it in the suspense, mild horror, but suspense, action, drama. Not comedy, but I got a kick out of some of it. My sense of humor is, you know, the modern comedies, I don't think they're really funny at all. I don't laugh at them. I'm just bored. If I watch them, I just sit there. Nothing touches me. I just don't feel moved at all. I like more of the classic comedies, like in the 80s with Gene Wilder and Richard Pryor and or Steve Martin and John Candy and Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. You know, there's different. I'm talking about comedies. I'm supposed to be talking about Duel. But anyway, my humor is more kind of the 80s comedy, or just a dark sense of humor in a way, in a funny way, in a good-natured way. This movie has suspense. It's well done. Spielberg does a great job as building the tension. He builds the tension. One scene builds on another. Dennis Weaver's a great actor, and you can see in his face that he's really nervous. He's very believable. The truck looks like a big dinosaur. One of my uncles said that once, the truck looks like a big dinosaur, and it does. And it's got flammable on it. It's old, it's rusty. Everything in here, all the elements seem to fit. And he's far from home, Dennis Weaver. He's driving and he's by himself. He doesn't have anyone to help him. It's a good movie. He has to finally trick the truck driver. And this is a spoiler review. I'm holding some stuff back. But if you like suspense, if you like The Hitcher, but you're turned off by some of the violence and you're turned off by some of the sadistic scenes, you'll probably like this a lot better, or at least better, I would guess. It's a good movie. It's suspenseful. There's action, drama, and I highly recommend it. And this has been the Late Night Review. Check this classic movie out. It's well worth it. Good night, everybody.